Hello, everybody. For those of you who don't know, my name is Michael Forrest, and welcome to It's Quest Time. Now, before we get going, I'm going to ask if all of you can stay up off of this, stage area here. This way, nobody blocks the display, and this way, I have a little bit of room around, to move around, do the whole hosting thing. Now, if I can also direct your attention to the menu wheel in your lower left, you're going to notice that there's a microphone icon at the very top of that, and if that microphone icon is clear, then that means we can hear what's happening in your environment. So we've gone ahead and we've turned that to red. This way, that means you're muted. We won't be able to hear anything happening in your environment. So if somebody comes into your space and says, "Hey, are you still on that thing?" Feel free to answer them because we're not going to hear any of that. Also, if you maybe have a dog barking in the background, you're not going to face social ruin back at the campfire by becoming known as the avatar that suddenly started barking during its quest time, right? Now, just because you're muted does not mean you can't express yourself. You're going to notice in your menu wheel that you have a pink cheeked smiley face emoji, and when you click on it, your emoji panel is going to open up in front of you, and it's going to give you a wide variety of options with which to express yourself, right? So if I say something really meaningful up here, it's really powerful, it touches you deep right down here, it starts to build up, you can just let it out and let it flow, just like that, right? Maybe I got some backup dancers backstage, right? Maybe they come out and we break into It's Quest Time the musical, and you're all like really impressed, and you can throw up the applause that I live for, right? Take a moment to drink that in because it feels good. All right, now if I ask you guys a yes or no question, you can smile to say yes, you can frown to say no. If I say or do something funny, you can, laugh by showing me the silly emoji here like that, right? And then there's this. This is not how you ask a question. This is how you get my attention in case something's gone wrong, right? Like maybe, just maybe, this display behind me burst into flame suddenly, right? Don't laugh, that actually happened. One of our moderators, we give them Terraformer for special effects and stuff like that, and they, set it on fire. It did it again last week, except it was over there, So, got to watch out for that. So if that happens, you guys let me know. Or if maybe I'm waving my hands around here and it looks like I'm talking, I'm really into it, right? And you guys don't hear me talking, you're like, what's going on? He's moving around. It looks like he's talking, then you're going to want to pop up one of these. Now, if I see one of these hands going by himself, I'm just going to keep on going. But if I see 5 of them, I know there's a problem I'm going to need to address, right? You're also you'll notice there's an X in the middle of that panel, right? And if you hit that X, it'll close the panel. But it's a good idea to leave it open during events like this because this way it gives me a little feedback. It lets me know how I'm doing. But more importantly, right, it lets the others around you know what you're experiencing. So if the person next to you starts going like this, they're like, oh, they think that's funny. And you may not agree. You might be like, that's not funny at all. I'm going to go stand over here. And you can do that. This is VR, right? All right, now, before we get going, I'm going to ask you guys some questions, get some idea of how to proceed. First, say a little bit about what this event is about. This event is for Oculus Quest users, but all are welcome. So if you're on the device, feel free to hang out. You may pick up some useful information that can help the growing community of Quest users in Altspace. All right, now, just to get an idea how to proceed, how many of you want a Quest right now? Let me see some hearts. If you're on a Quest, show me some love for the Quest. Just hands up, that's good. Great body language, awesome. Okay, wow, so we got a room full of Quest users, so you guys are in the right place. All right, cool. How many of you are new to the Quest? If you're new to the Quest, let me see some smiles if you're new. You like recently got the Quest. Okay, how many of you are new to Altspace? A chance to welcome all of you if you're new. All right, cool, a few. All right, cool, gives me some idea. All right, well, when I was waiting for my Quest to arrive, right, for the longest time I was on an Oculus Go, and I was really focused on getting that second hand. Because if like on the Oculus Go, you only have that one hand, right? Now, I grew up in Brooklyn, so I'm used to talking with my hands a lot. And I didn't feel like I was expressing myself as fully as I could in Altspace, because I was going like this all the time, right? And so I was real focused on getting this hand. Turns out, though, that these are so much more than your hands, right? They're also your feet. They're how you move around. They're how you interact with your environment. And when my controllers came, I got to tell you, I took a good look at them, and I thought to myself, those are a lot of buttons, right? Now, if you're here today, you got a handle on the basics, right? Like, the left thumbstick's going to move you around like this. The right thumbstick's going to turn you in circles like that. And, if you combine them, you can get these big, elaborate circles that make my presentation so much more dramatic. If everybody could do that, give me like a big circle like this, because when I look out in the audience, it looks like you guys are ballroom dancing. Let me say, oh, wow, that looks good. Oh, that looks awesome. I love that. And I always say, I wish you guys can, see what I'm seeing. I can see all of you moving around the room like that. And now you can, because we got a YouTube channel. If you go to that, our YouTube channel, you'll notice there's Raven Eye floating up in the air there. That's our camera. So if you want to wave out to YouTube right now, you can, just like you stand up by the rug here so you'll get seen. We've got Doggy Wolf's right here. We've got Rebro. We've got Sane Arrivals. I hope I'm saying that right. We got Dave. What's up, Dave? We got, who else we got? We got LT Arthur, who's not saying still and makes it hard to read. We got Hummingbird. We got John. Wow, I've got a good crowd today. We got Tobias. Everybody wave out to YouTube. Hey, YouTube, come on in to Altspace. It's nice in here. Come on in. All right, let's see. So now we're going to go over a couple of these controller items here. We're gonna, if you're already familiar with the controls, don't worry. We're going to do this in kind of a fun way to get everybody skilled up. We're going to do like a little bit of movement stuff, which is great. One of the first buttons I want to talk about is this grip button on your right controller and on your left controller. Now, what these do is these allow you to interact with your environment in the same way that I'm grabbing and holding onto this laser pointer here, right? Little special effects there, kind of, maybe start dancing. All right, cool. Get a little carried away with that. All right, but you can switch it into both hands, and this is how you're going to interact with your environment, right? You're going to use this to grab basketballs, fireworks, and all kinds of things in Altspace like that. But also, if you're using the World Builder, let's see. Hey, son, what's going on? If you're using the World Builder, if you're in the World Beta program, you're going to have it so that it's going to change the behavior of your right thumbstick. So normally the right thumbstick is going to turn you around, right? But if you're grabbing an object in the World Editor, now when you go to turn, all of a sudden the object's going to get really big. And that's because when you turn your right thumbstick from the left to the right, it's going to change the scale of the size of the object. If you move that thumbstick forward or back, it's going to push the object away from you, or it's going to bring it closer to you, right? Okay, now another button I want to talk about is, now listen, while these are a lot of buttons, right, some of these buttons do the same thing. This select button here, this right trigger button, and this left select button, if you have your left pointer enabled, all of those buttons do the same things. You hold down on your trigger button on your right controller right now and move your hand through the crowd, you're going to notice everybody's name tag appearing above their head, right? Just like that. So this is how I know everybody's name so quickly. That's how I know that's Fly 636, and that's Lauren standing by the window helping us out. We got Alexander and Lieutenant Arthur, and you basically move your arm like this and you'll be able to see everybody's name tag. It's pretty useful. Also, if you're having a room scale experience, like where you're standing up, a lot of times what's going to happen is if you walk out past your main menu, a bunch of circles in your lower left there, what happens a lot is every single time, what happens to me is when I would walk out beyond that and you can't see them anymore, somebody always says to you, open your main menu. And you're like, and you're looking around, where did I put this thing? And you're looking all over, and it's like always behind you, right? So you got to remember something. On an Oculus Quest, the main menu is in your hands at all times, all right? It's actually in your left hand. What you want to do is there's a flat button on your left controller on the bottom here. It's right here, right? If you press on that, your main menu is going to open up in front of you, right? And if you, if you press it again, your main menu is going to close. So you don't actually have to press that blue and white triangle button in your lower left. You just press that button. It's very useful. It's kind of handy information, right? Oh whoa, laser pointer came out of nowhere. Look at that. Force are strong on this one. All right, cool. So what else do we have here? We have also these teleport buttons on both controllers, right? So what you can do, sorry, I keep putting my back to you guys. My controller's not working too great. But if you hold down that teleporter button and aim at the floor, right, on either controller, let's start with the right one first. If you come up and join me all on this wall here, and you hold that down and aim at the floor, you're going to see your teleport circle appear on the floor. Hopefully you're in a line dash teleport. It's a lot of fun. You feel like you're flinging yourself across the room, right? You aim that circle across by that brick wall there, and as soon as you let go, boom, you get thrown across the room just like that. All right, so everybody teleport on over to me, like that, cool. And now if you take your left controller and hold down that teleport button and aim that circle across the room there, right, and let go, boom, you get flung right across the room. Another cool thing you can do is if you make an X with them, if you make two X's on the floor by holding down both teleport buttons, right, there's a lot of power. And if you hold them down, you let go at the same time, you zig. Oh, wait, oh, I zigged. I didn't zag. What's going on there? All right, let's see. As I said, trouble with the control. Let's try this again. All right, so you hold down two teleport buttons at the same time and let go, and it's not working. What's going on? It's supposed to zig and a zag. Let's see. There we go. Zigzag. All right, so that's another thing you can do is actually, if we're facing the stage right now and you walk toward, if you're facing like the stage like this, start backing up and moving backwards, right? You can, aim your teleporter at the ground and kind of do an Altspace moonwalk like that. Now you'll notice I'm going pretty quickly like this, and that's because if you hold down your left trigger button, it's going to cause you to accelerate if you're walking or flying. So this trigger right here is going to cause you to go faster, right? And I can jump off the stage and run around and move really quick like this, and maybe I start going in a circle, and maybe other people join me, and we form a giant tornado that rips the building apart. Let's see, can everybody do this? And if you get dizzy, don't do this thing. Let's see, everybody doing that? All right, not very organized today. It's not really like a circle. It's more like, I don't know how to describe that. That's not very organized. That's what I'm going to say. It's not really like a big circle there. It's more like kind of just moving fast moving. All right, but we're going to work on that. All right, let's see what else we have here. Also, let's see. So that's, oh yeah, if you're gonna, when I first got my Quest, I went to the campfire, right? And I felt like, you know, I was kind of on top of the world, right? I felt like I was floating on a cloud, felt real good. But then I looked around me and I noticed all the avatars were like, you know, shorter than me. And I'm like, what's going on? Why am I so tall? And I looked down and I realized I'm floating this high off the ground. Now on the Quest, you're gonna need to worry about your vertical height, right? So if you notice your vertical height changes, like if somebody's willing to change your vertical height for me by standing up, sitting down or something like that, you know, so we can get an example. We got Dave, come on up here. Come up out of the back so we can get you on camera. You can show that Dave will do it. We also got Gizmo. Gizmo, come on up. 253. Come on up and people see. All right. Now you'll notice that Gizmo's way up here and so is Dave. Now show everybody what happens when you press down your left thumbstick. We also got Doggy Wolf's just doing it. Press down the left thumbstick and boom. That's recentering. So if you find your vertical height changes, like right now, Dave's down low. Dave's down there and he's feeling it and he's stuck in the ground. Right? Now he pressed down on his left thumbstick. What happens? Boom. Just like that. Right? So that's recentering. So if you find your vertical height isn't making you uncomfortable in any way, just press down your left thumbstick. It happens enough where they've made it super convenient to get, you know, to get to that. All right, well, let's see, what else do we have here? You know, actually with the teleport stuff, you know, I tell you, you get it, when the first time I experienced this, I was at the Universe, right? And back then they had it in a really big world. And I go up to the edge, right? And I'm looking off, you know, down off the edge there, and I went a little bit too far and I fell. And as I'm falling, right, I'm falling down there, I look over, and before I respawn, I saw this cliff, right? And I'm falling, you know, and I aim at that cliff with my teleporter button, right? And as soon as I let go, boom, I was thrown right onto the cliff. And it dawned on me, like, you know, in that moment, I was finally getting used to the controllers. So if you are new, it can take like a couple of days, you know, to a week to get used to things. But there's going to come a moment where even though you still feel the plastic in your hands, there's going to come a moment where these actually become your hands, right? You won't think about what buttons you're pushing. Like if I say, hey, everybody, look out that window, right? I don't think about how I'm pointing. I just do it. Right, and the way I'm doing that, in case you're not familiar with the gestures, is I hold down my middle finger on the controller, I hold the grip button like that, and it's making me point, right? Just like Doggy Wuss is pointing to himself right here, right? Now, if you do it in both hands, you'll be pointing with both hands, right? And you can give me a Brooklyn hello, right? Go like that. Or maybe you can make the Altspace logo like this, you know? Or maybe you can twist it around and make, you know, hold it like we're going to take a picture and make this moment last forever, right? You can like even make it shutter by squeezing the trigger button. If you squeeze your trigger buttons, you'll get 2 thumbs up. Maybe 2 thumbs down. Maybe you can do both because you don't know. Maybe you can go like this, right? You know, and basically, if you see somebody doing something like, if you touch your thumbs to the thumbstick and the buttons, it'll make your thumbs go down like this. So you can kind of, you know, combine that into a kind of sort of a dance move like that, right? Which, you know, I'm told doesn't look as cool as it feels, but you know, it does feel pretty cool. All right, so you know, you basically this body language type stuff. If you see somebody doing something you like, the best way to learn it is to basically copy them, right? And you know, so by mirroring, you know, another person's gestures, it's probably the best way to get a handle on this stuff. All right, now there's another button you need to be aware of. Don't push it now, because if you do, you're going to disappear, and I'm going to feel it down deep like that, right? It's this flat button on your right controller. This is the best way to leave Altspace. Right, so if you're gonna, you know, somebody comes in your space and says, "Hey, dinner's ready," and you're like, "All right, I'll be right there," and then you press that flat button, you're going to be confronted with, you know, an option to quit or resume. Now that's great if you're moving around in your universe, you're dancing, you're having a good time, and all of a sudden you press that button and you freeze like that because now you're at your main menu. Now you have that option to press resume. It's going to bring you right back into Altspace. And when you come right back into Altspace, no one's even going to notice you were gone. You're just going to, you know, keep on dancing like, I don't think anybody saw that. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay, cool. But this is also a good button to press when things go wrong. All right, now, for example, let's say that you turn your head and the whole world moves with you, right? That can make you feel pretty sick, right? You're going to want to deal with that in a hurry. So it's good to know and have that as kind of a reflex. You just press that flat button on the right controller, and then you hit quit, you restart the app, and that's going to fix most of the problems that you're going to have in Altspace. However, occasionally something more serious might happen. Like let's say, you know, you look to the right and you see this black void, and you're like, uh-oh, there's a black void over there. You look to the left, there's a black void. You look up, you look down, black void, all of your friends are frozen in space like this. What do? Well, you press down on that flat button, right? Just like Michael Forrest said, but nothing happens. Your device is frozen. What do? All right, well, you're going to want to restart your device at this point. And a lot of people, and I did this too in the beginning, I would take my headset off to restart it, right? And a lot of times if your device isn't in a charge cycle, it's not lighting up when you plug it in, you're going to feel like your device is broken because it takes so long to restart it when you shut it down this way. So the best thing to do is to know how to restart the device while it's still on your head. And the way you do this is you take your index finger and you hold it up to the side of your device just like this, and you're going to feel that raised up button there, right? Now you take the second index finger, all right, and you hold it on the other side, you know, to kind of counterbalance it, and you squeeze them together. I like to look down when I do this, so it looks like I'm in deep concentration, right? And you hold it down for about 4 seconds, right? And all of a sudden you concentrate so hard, your avatar disappears and you plunge into the darkness as the device shuts off, right? And you're sitting there in the darkness, and after 10 seconds or so, you start thinking, why did Oculus make it take so long? I don't know. 15 seconds go by, you start thinking about friends you haven't seen in a while, you wonder how they're doing. 20 seconds go by, you start thinking about life, the big questions. And then all of a sudden, out of the darkness emerges the Oculus logo, right? And it starts to pulse. And when it starts to pulse, you pull your fingers away like this, right? And then your device will restart normally. You restart the app, you come on in, and this is going to take care of pretty much all the problems you could have with your device as it relates to Altspace. And very occasionally, something more serious might happen, right? So it pays to know about the following option. I got to warn you, right? The option I'm about to talk about is a factory reset. And when you use this, you're going to lose all of your pictures. You're going to have to reinstall all of your apps. If, you may even lose your Beat Saber scores. All right, so only use this in an emergency. You'd use this if, for example, like when I came out of Altspace one time, I got this message that said, Oculus Room is closing. And I said, actually it said Oculus Home is closing. And I go, okay, all right, cool. That was all the blue button said was okay. So I pressed the okay button, right? And then it just said loading for like 2 minutes, and I knew something was wrong. So I restarted the device just like I showed you, the whole deep concentration thing, right? And it turned back on, it just still said loading. So I knew something was wrong. And so I went and asked Google about it, right? Google knows the things many. And I asked Google, and Google said, a lot of people are having this problem. The only way around it is factory reset. So I did the factory reset. I had to reinstall all my apps, but all my settings were gone. I had to redo the settings, and it puts the device back basically the way it was when you first got it. All right, now, if you're here today, you're already familiar with the Guardian system because, you've danced with the robot, you played with the blimp, all that fun stuff, right? What you may not be familiar with is how to use the Guardian system to your advantage in Altspace. Like, for example, if you get dizzy a lot, I see your hand going up in a minute, Dave. I got your hand there. We'll be taking questions at the end, all right? Cool? All right, awesome. Not far, all right, not long from that. All right, so, but basically, if you get dizzy a lot in Altspace, you're in VR and you're getting dizzy a bit, one of the things you can do is if you take your hand, you hold your hand up like this and go look at it, right? And you just focus on it, right? Until the dizziness passes. And then you just take the hand away slowly, taking the world around you. That can really help if that happens. But you can also use your Guardian system. Now, I like to tell people when they're moving around with their Guardian system, be very careful because a lot of times you'll see somebody walking around in Altspace and looks like they're having a good day and all of a sudden they go boom, like that because they hit a wall, right? You want to be careful not to damage your equipment or to injure yourself. All right, so I find it helps to lead with their hands, and when you do, and you get up to the edge of your Guardian, you see that grid appear in the air in front of you. That that white net it kind of looks like, right? But when you're doing this, you can also so right now, let's say I'm up against my real world wall, and I've got the grid in front of me. I can still touch my thumbsticks, and I can still move my avatar around in VR while I'm standing still. So what I can do is I can go up to this screen here, right, and line it up with my real world wall. All right, now this gives me a frame of reference. So if I'm moving around in VR and suddenly the worst should happen, I fall off the stage. Oh no, I'm in the audience. What do I do? Let's say the audience turns on me and they start, you guys come on over and try to make me dizzy. Stick your hands in my face. Come on, do your worst. Let's say, all right, there we go. Oh, that's good. That's really good. All right, so what happens now is I can still see that screen. No matter what you guys do, the screen's big enough where I can see it. So I have a frame of reference. You'll notice I'm not even breaking my sentences. I'm still talking. I'm not having any kind of problems here. I'm not going to get dizzy at all as long as I can see that wall, all right? Because it basically anchors me to the real world. It gives me a frame of reference. And it doesn't have to be something big like that. Like let's say in your play space, you have a table or a desk. You can line it up with the edge of the stage, and when they match, it's going to basically make you feel a little bit more balanced. And check this out. I'm going to teleport backwards. Cool, right? You just put your hand back over your shoulder like that. Just learned that a couple of days ago. You never really stop learning this stuff. All right. So what else you could do is you can also transition between a room scale experience and a stationary experience effortlessly in Altspace. All right. So like, let's say that I'm up here and I've been hosting all day. This is my third event today and I'm tired. I can't go on. I need to sit down. What do I do? Well, I go up to the edge of my Guardian system, right? I got to make sure I got enough room for my head to move around, through it. And as soon as I stick my head through it, the pass-through camera goes off and I can see the real world. I got my coffee right here. I take some of that, right? And I notice I got a chair over there, right? So I walk in the real world, I'm going along there and having an avatar experience. I sit down in my chair and I see, it is asking me if I want to, if I want to have a stationary experience. So I press the blue button, I say, okay. And then all of a sudden I'm back in VR, but not only am I back in VR, I'm still in Altspace. I never left. This works in the other direction too. Like let's say, there was one time I was moderating an event, right? And toward the end, I felt like getting up and walking around. So I did. I got up and I thought I was just going to walk into my Guardian. But occasionally on the Quest, you're going to have to repaint your Guardian. And normally that's not a big deal. But the event was over in 2 minutes. I know what to do. And I'm like, so I'm redrawing my boundary, right? And I'm like, oh man, why is my play space so big? of all the days to moderate for an admin, Lauren, why did it have to be today? And I'm sitting there and I'm drawing it out there and I'm just like, drawing it. And all of a sudden, when I close the loop, the grid comes up out of the ground. And you know what I found? I was still in Altspace. I never left. All anybody saw was me standing there like this with my hands frozen, like that. Now, I always pause here, right? And one time I actually disconnected. I lost my connection while I was going like this. But that's all anybody's going to see is you're frozen like that. And the audience was like looking up and I'm sitting there and they're like, he's so committed. He's so invested in the role. He's so dedicated, right? But really, I wasn't even here. I was just gone. And everyone's like, wow, why is he dragging that bit out, right? And, it's kind of, a little excessive there, don't you think? But yeah, you can totally do that. You can switch from room scale to a stationary experience without ever leaving Altspace. So this gives you the option when you're in Altspace to be as comfortable as you need to be. So, that's good news. All right. Also, next thing I'm going to show you is it's not really useful information. It's just fun. If you go up to the edge of your Guardian, right, and you move your head through it and make sure you got enough room, right, the pass-through camera goes off and you can see the real world, right? You all know that. But what happens is if you do it really slowly, there's a sweet spot where you can see both realities at once. And this is going to give you the ability to see Altspace avatars in your real-world environment, kind of like augmented reality. And it's kind of neat because you get a sense of scale. Like I had no idea the avatars were so tall. They're about like 6 feet tall. And you really get a sense of it when you see them in a familiar environment, like your living room, your office, or wherever it is you do your VR from. All right, now let's see what else we have here. Let's see. Now the great thing about the Quest is it just works. Now this doesn't mean it can't work better, right? You're going to notice that, for example, the sound on the Quest is very good. You have a very rich sound experience, no feedback. But they have these earbuds, and when they're attached, they go on each side and they kind of dangle down. I don't know, like what I look like when I'm in VR, but I like to think when I'm wearing these things, I look fancy because they're like, like sort of like earrings for your headset, right? So I put these on for the first time and, want to see how they work, right? And I go to the campfire with them, and you know what? There's a breeze in the campfire. Nobody ever told me that. I walked over to that fence on the side there, and I heard the water rushing by, right? And I couldn't get over it. It turns out there's a lot of ambient sounds in Altspace that make the experience really, so much more rich and immersive. So it's worth checking that out. Also, you're going to notice that there is these inserts that you have for your headset. Now, a lot of people tell me that the Quest is uncomfortable. So you got a question there? Oh, there we go. So somebody just disappeared. It's like that. So I guess we'll never know what it was. All right. But yeah, a lot of some people tell me that the Quest is uncomfortable. It's actually not. There's a breaking in period for the Quest, right? And a lot of times, like if you go to change the balance of it by getting one of those external battery packs or a counterbalance weight or something like that, before the breaking in period is over, after the breaking in period goes through, then you're going to find it's off balance again. All right, so you want to do, at least for the first couple of weeks that you have it, allow the oils in your face to kind of, condition and soften the insert that comes with the Quest. This will make it a lot more better balanced and a lot more comfortable. All right, that's good to do. But to actually aid in that is these inserts that you can get. They come in cloth. There's a great company called VR Cover. You also have these prescription inserts that you can get for your headset. That'll make it'll protect your lenses, it'll protect your glasses if you wear them. That's a great thing. Now, also, you're going to want to protect your headset in general because, listen, if you leave it out on the table and say like the sunlight damages the lenses, it's not like losing your toaster. I've seen this happen. If you're in Altspace a lot, if you're in social VR and you've like made friendships and all that, what's going to happen is you're going to register the loss of your device as an actual loss, like because it's going to cut you off from your friends and how you're spending your time there. So take good care of your equipment. A good way to do that is this travel case. The box the Quest comes in is really great, but if you're going to be moving it around a lot, you're going to want something tighter like this. If you're going to want to try any of these products, you can find them at altvr.com by going up to where it says channels. You're going to see a list of all the Altspace event channels. You're going to see Ravenhall events like it says on that sound booth over there. And when it takes us to our event page, and all these products will be listed on the left-hand side. Down toward the bottom, you'll see a join Discord button if you want to help us put on events like this. That's always welcome. And you'll also notice that there is a subscribe button there, probably the most important button on the internet, I think. And when you press it, it makes us feel good because that number goes up. You don't get paid to do this, but it does let Altspace know that you enjoy our content. So if you do enjoy our content, please press that subscribe button. It helps us out a lot. All right, now we are going to be taking your questions, your comments. Maybe you've tried an accessory I haven't mentioned, something like that. We're going to make a raise hand button appear in your lower right as if by magic. You should be seeing it right now. And if you have a question or a comment or anything like that, just press on that raise hand button and we'll be happy to take them. All right, let's see. And I don't get to see the full name here, so if I butcher your name, I'm sorry.
Ravenhall Talon Aircraft en route to your position.
Oh no! Somebody's pushed the button. that was our big red button for our big ending, which somebody triggered early. I'm going to have to lock that down so it's specific to me, I think. Okay, we are going to be taking your questions here, but that's our ride. Hopefully we'll be able to re-queue it here, but let's see who we have. We have Doggy Woe, I think, or Doggy Woofs. You have a question, Doggy? What's up? What's going on?
Oh, hello.
Talon Aircraft is now boarding outside for transport to the Ravenhall Flight Academy.
One of our mod.
Please exit the building and step into the blue light. Thank you.
But that's our big special effect. You know, well, you know what? We'll be able to see it twice. What's your question, Doggy?
The Oculus Link, is that any good to buy? Because I heard that you can like.
The Oculus Link. The thing about the Ethernet cable is really long. That's good and bad, all right? Because you can find it can get like tangled up. The graphics are a little bit better on the $80 cable, but it's not radically better. As for is it good to try the Link? Yes, it's awesome because it's like getting two headsets, right? You'll be able to have like Rift experiences, but you'll also have your Quest set up individually. So like when you connect it to your computer, it's honestly, it's like having two headsets. You know, when you take it away, that they use different. Like if I have a selection of software installed or apps installed on my Quest, and I'm just using it on my Quest, and then I hook up the Link, I can have different apps installed on that there. So it really is just like having two headsets. It's awesome. You know, I've used it a few times and I love it. You know. All right, let's see who else do we have here. We have Rebro. Rebro, you have a question? Where'd you go, Rebro? There we go. There on the air.
Change your avatar in Altspace. How do you change your avatar in Altspace?
You see all these different types of avatars around you. You can do that too. What you want to do is
I want to be like Doggy. I want to be like Doggy.
Okay, cool. Who doesn't want to be like Doggy? All right. What you want to do is you want to press that blue and white triangle button in your lower left. All right. You see that?
Blue.
Right.
No.
And you're going to see there's a cog wheel that says settings. You don't see the blue and white triangle on your left there? Should be right down there.
Like right here? Triangle. Like it does say menu?
You see a collection of circles on your lower left-hand side. Like right down here, yes. You see a big collection of circles?
Actually, mine's right here where I'm pointing my hand.
Sometimes it can move around, but do you see a big blue and white triangle? When you point at it, it says menu. You see that?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I see that.
Press that.
Okay.
All right, now you're going to see all these tabs on the bottom, right? One of those tabs, it looks like a cogwheel. It's going to say settings. All right. Oh, wait, wrong tab. Sorry. You're looking for the tab that says me. Not you, but me. A little smiley face on it, super friendly. You're going to see there's a blue button there that says Edit Avatar, and that's where you can make those changes.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, he has the knowledge. All right, awesome. Very cool. All right, let's see. Who else do we have here? We have Hans Lolo. What's going on, Hans? Hans, where are you? I don't see you. There you are, in the blue. You'll mute it, though. You're going to have to consent. You know, maybe you didn't mean to press the button. That's possible. You know, that can happen. Let's see. Hans? Can you hear me? Hans, speak to me. All right, maybe you pressed it by accident. Yeah, you're okay. You're muted. All right, cool. All right, let's see. I have a question. Which one of the mods pushed the button? I know it wasn't the camera. No? I want to know. Okay, let's see. You know, it could have been anybody. It could have been an accident. You know, it's probably an accident. Yeah, no, it's happened a couple times this week, though. All right, let's see. Tobias, you have a question or a comment or anything like that?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. The one thing that I do is, you were talking about the sunlight damaging the headset when you're not using it.
Yes.
The thing I do is I just put a small dish towel over it because I said it.
I've been doing that lately too. When I leave it on my desk, I've been putting a small towel over it. I think that's a great idea. You know, because this way you don't have to box it up every single time. You know, that's a great idea. Good, very good idea. I like your colors too. That's an awesome look. All right, let's see if I just got word that the talent is gone. All right, so normally what we do, we end our events by teaching everybody to fly at the Ravenhall Flight Academy, and that ship you saw go by before, that's how we take everybody there in style. You can actually fly these ships, and we're going to call another one in this time, this time for real. All right, so if you direct your attention out through this window here, you're going to see it go fly down the block.
Ravenhall Talon Aircraft en route to your position.
There you go, flies down the road right there, and you're gonna see it go up over the trees and out the back into the backyard. Listen, if you've learned anything here today, please share it with the people you come in contact with. It's how we keep this thing going. And, feel free to join me if you have any more questions. If I didn't call on you, don't feel bad. We can, take the questions at the Raven Flight Academy while we teach you guys to fly. And if you want to fly one of these hovercrafts, you absolutely can. Should be landing right about now. Here it comes. Awesome. Cool. Portal's gonna open up.
Talon aircraft is now boarding outside for transport to the Raven Hall Flight Academy. Please exit
All right,
the
everybody.
building and
You've been
step
a great
into the
audience.
blue light.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming, and I'll see you next time.